Always have a chance to chat, and here we go now. Lots to do with the Red Sox making another trade, bets, and everything else. But before we get there, let's do the Patriots and Brady, and let's do that TV rating, which was the highest in the country outside of Kansas City for the Super Bowl last Sunday. And I would be assuming there, outside of Belichick's little man cave, I would be assuming everybody in New England rooted hard for Brady to win this game against Kansas City. Dan, let's start there. Go ahead.
Yeah, by the time that game was played, you're right, Chris. It was pretty much unanimously pro-Tom. When he left in March, there was a little bit of pushback about that. Folks not as happy. And then the Patriots had a bad year going 7-9 out of the playoffs. So certainly by the end, it was all Brady all the time. And we may point out they did a better TV rating in New England than they did in Tampa for that game.
That's all you need to know. Belichick down deep. You think Belichick rooted for Brady to win that game, or did not root for Brady to win that game?
I would say no, Chris. I think that, Bill's taking kind of a beating here, not making the playoffs. And then there's been a lot of notion that, well, the whole thing, it was all Tom, which is really unfair if you know sports, football. You can't assign a 20-year dynasty to the quarterback. So that's not accurate. That's not the case. And it's unfortunate that it got hung on Bill that way. So I think that he's human. He didn't want to hear that. And I think deep down, he had to be saying to himself, be okay with me if Kansas City beats them.
I don't think so. I happen to agree with you. There's no way he could have rooted for Brady in that spot. And that doesn't say he doesn't like Brady, but I can't think he'd want those questions. Well, he won without you, so there you go. All right, now, the Red Sox here, as we switch gears. They really soured and vice versa on BENINTENDI, and I'm very surprised. We loved him when he first came up, and, he kind of fell out of favor pretty quick, and then, of course, he gets dealt to Kansas City. What happened here? What was the matter with BENINTENDI? He didn't play well? Give me an explanation, Dan. What can you tell me?
Chris, I don't understand this deal at all. They're even giving money to Kansas City to help pay the guy, so it's not a salary dump like it was with Betts. They're the two players are the same age. The guy they got back, Cordero, they're the same age. He has more team control, I guess. But BENINTENDI, they're giving up too early on him. They're selling low. He played 14 games last year, did nothing. The year before was a down year, yes. But he came to the big leagues, hit .271 with 20 homers and 20 steals his rookie year, second in Rookie of the Year voting after being Baseball America's Player of the Year. And then his second year, he hits .290 with 16 bombs. He makes the catch that beats Houston to get him to the World Series. To me, they're selling way low on this, giving up way too early. I don't understand any of it. They're assembling the most faceless team in the history of the Red Sox in my lifetime. And that's saying something, because I go back to when they could lose 100 games in 1966.
I don't understand this trade either. I'm with you 100%. He's still, you cannot give up on this kid this quick. Kansas City made a great deal. I'm with you 100%. All right, how about the Red Sox team as we speak? Pretty good left side of the infield. All right, Devers is not Brooks Robinson, but I still think he's got a big upside. Sure. I get that. I mean, maybe they get Sale back. Martinez is still there. They appear to be, and they got Ottavino in the bullpen. The Yankees helped them there. He'll probably help a little bit. They're not going to be as bad as last year, but these are not the Red Sox as, a kid from 10 years ago is going to remember. What is up? What's the game plan as we head to 2021? What can you tell me there?
The game plan is they're all about payroll flexibility. They're all about the future, the pipeline, control of players' contracts, stuff that fans don't really care about. They're not about winning this year. Sam Kennedy admitted to me they are not all in on this year. That's hard to do in this market, especially when you're charging the prices that they charge, the ratings they have for their television flagship here. It's not a cheap product. They were in last place last year. It's been more attrition. They're losing name players rather than bringing them on. And they are the Tampa Bay North without the kind of success that Tampa's had. So right now it's just a cast of faceless guys that it's going to be hard for fans to get behind. Don't forget, they had that outfield of BENINTENDI, Bradley, and Betts. They're all gone now. I mean, they're all gone in 2 years.
Yeah, Bradley I'm okay with, but the other two we've discussed Betts, and I don't understand this one as I say. Listen, is Bloom taking a hit? Is the ownership taking a hit? They love Cora. That can't be him. I think they probably realize that Bloom is answering to his marching orders. So yes. Who's getting the aggravation on talk radio in Boston right now at the Red Sox?
Well, it should be ownership, in my view. We haven't heard from them in a year since they dealt Betts in the salary deal dump that David Price was also in. They're just not accountable. They're not out there. Chaim Bloom was hired to take the hits. He's taken them. He's young. He gets some credit for Tampa's success. So they're saying, well, your team can be in the playoffs the way Tampa was, with smart management and payroll flexibility and a pipeline of young talent. Well, they don't have that pipeline, and they have not been a teardown here for quite some time. It's a lot to ask fans to be patient with a teardown, which is what this looks like.
It does. Sale, what's his availability here for the year? Were they going to hold him back until they really know he's 100%? No need to push with that big contract off Tommy John and a so-so team. What's the status with him as we go to spring training?
It's funny you bring him up because when they were making the deal to acquire him, the White Sox wanted either Benintendi or Moncada. And you look back now, I mean, they'd have been better off giving him Benintendi, given the way things have played out on that. But that's not your question. I mean, Sale, to your point, Chris, of course, yeah, coming off Tommy John, they're not going to be good this year. There's going to be no rush to push him in there. So I would say, July, something like that. They can be very prudent with that because he won't be coming into any kind of a pennant race like that. And they need him to be a stud for them years ahead because he's getting paid forever in a long-term deal that they signed when he was hurt after the 18 World Series during that sugar rush when they gave all the money to Eovaldi and Sale.
Yeah, a sugar rush is a good way to look at it. Now, listen, they are the Boston Red Sox. They're not going to sit back forever and, lose 100 games. They're going to bounce back eventually because they do have, resources and everything else. Do you see this as being sort of a 2 or 3 year gap before they reload? They're going to get sick of hearing all the grief about how they don't want to win. So eventually they're going to act upon that. What's your sense here on a long-term prognosis? What can you tell me there?
There's not a lot in the farm system. I mean, Chaim Bloom was not the top guy in Tampa when they were assembling the teams that do compete annually for them. I mean, Tampa's finished ahead of Boston 8 times in the last 13 years. They're better than the Red Sox now, so it's not the worst model. But we're not used to this kind of thing where you don't go out and spend money and bring in name high-priced talent during the offseason. They have not done that. They're not about that. It's going to be hard for fans to wait for a farm system to be stocked and mature over the course of the next few years. It feels like some tough sledding around here.
Interesting, Dan. Well done. We'll keep in touch. Go Bruins. How's that sound? Well done,
Yeah.
Mr. Shaughnessy. We'll keep
Thanks,
we'll keep you posted. Thanks very much today.